Perfect for Throwback Thursday, the latest in lava lamps. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. With us from Schylling, Schylling, is VP of Product Design Bryan Katzel. Hi, Bryan.
Hey, good morning, Fred. How you doing?
Great. Well, lava lamps first arrived in the U.S. back in 1965. Doesn't predate me, but predates a lot of other people. Not long after the Beatles, now comes a new generation. Give us the overview, Bryan.
Sure. So lava, the original motion lamp was invented over in England, actually, by a inventor named Edward Craven, and after he had some success with his company Mathmos, creating the Astro lamp, they had created a relationship with a distributor in the U.S. who actually coined the term lava, coined the term the lava lamp, and the shape of the lava lamp, which is the iconic image that everybody knows today. It was a huge hit, and after that, we've seen it become almost not specific to a certain era, but every generation kind of picking it up and owning it for themselves. You know, they were really popular in the 60s and 70s. Then again, in the 90s, there's a lot of people that always come to me and they're like, oh, I remember lava lamp. Those are so 90s, and I'm always thinking, like probably you are, you're thinking of the 60s and the Beatles and things like that. And even now, in the 2000s, we've been having a great resurgence of people really picking up and loving the lava lamp. You're seeing it in pop culture. It's been phenomenal. It's an icon that just can kind of pick up on the fashion trends of that generation, and we've been doing a really great job at trying to build it out so that young or old, no matter what generation, they can pull it into their lifestyle. And so now what's coming up next is our flowback series, which we're talking to you specifically today about. Those are our new lamps that we'll be looking at and talking through.
Well, tell us about them. What makes them different from what's come before?
Yeah, so this will be our first time at Schylling to really go back and look at specific decades when lava was popular, and look at the trends of that pop culture, look at things that were in style and try to represent those on a lava lamp. So our first decade that we're focusing on is the 70s. So our throwback or flowback series for the 70s contains 3 lamps, and those 3 lamps are called the Disco Fever and the Groovy Gradient, and then the last one is the Vinyl Record. And the Groovy Gradient is the first time that we'll be doing a flocked pattern onto the lamp. So this lamp is really inspired after those blacklight posters that were so famous back in the 70s, right? And on all those blacklight posters, there was this really thick, black, deep, dark flocking that was put onto the posters. So we've figured out a way to put that flocking onto the base of the lamp in these groovy, flowing line designs. And then in the background of that, we've got a really hot gradient pink and orange color that flows up to the side of the lamp. And it's one of the first times that we're doing this, and it also seems to marry perfectly with the lava lamp, black flocking like that. So we have photos that you can see. You can see that it's got like a little bit of hairs that stand up on the edge if you don't know what flocking is. And then our Disco Fever lamp, that lamp has a foil that's all around the base and the cap. reflective surface in these little squares that remind you of a lot of a disco lamp or a disco ball. When light shines on it, it reflects in a bunch of different colors. And then inside the globe, we actually have large pieces of glitter that flow throughout the lamp. And as that glitter rotates and moves around, the light hits it and refracts onto the wall and makes all these great patterns that remind you of, sitting under a disco ball at a dance or in the roller rink in the 70s.
And then the vinyl record. Don't tell me this one skips.
No, this one does not skip. It constantly flows. In the side of this lamp, we've been able to cut a groove that looks like a texture of like a record, like a wax record. This one is for collectors of all kinds of wax, lava wax and and LPs. It's in a nice glossy black paint treatment on there so that it kind of has that same reflective surface and looks like a vinyl record. And then inside, it's got an orange liquid and a yellow wax, so it flows. It's really nice and bright. Will look really sharp sitting next to a record player or a record collection, anything like that. But we feel like we hit like some really key points that are really distinguished for that era of like items that remind you of being back in the 70s, whether it's the disco ball, the record, or blacklight posters for sure.
Tell us about the size available on these. Are they all pretty much the same size?
Correct. Yeah, these are all at a 14.5-inch size. So there's 20 ounces inside each one of those globes, and uses a 25-watt bulb.
Now, tell us about availability and pricing, and also people might want to know about the durability of these. Does it kind of flow forever?
Sure. Yeah. Lava lamps. The thing that's great about lava is that these lamps that have been around for years, there's tons of collectors that will find these in a thrift shop. You bring the lamp home. Every so often, there's environmental issues that kind of change and mess with the wax and liquid inside. But a lot of times, you can bring these lamps home, replace the bulb with a new bulb, and have it up and running again. So, these lava lamps live a long time. They've got a long lifespan. A lot of them have been passed down, from dad to son, or grandma to her grandkids. And these lamps are going to be launched on 4/20 on Thursday, and they'll be at $39.99 MSRP. So that'll be our retail price on the site, and only available at lavalamp.com.
So that's where people would go, is lavalamp.com. What is it, Bryan, that you think has made these so fascinating, and there's still a market for them?
We were talking about this the other day. It's kind of like the gas powered car, I guess, in the sense that if someone were to come to you today and say, let's make something like a lava lamp, I don't know if you would do it exactly this way with liquid and wax and figuring out those densities so that the thing flows properly and the right amount of heat. It might be a digital screen on the side, so
I mean, there's no app control or anything like that.
No, there's no app control. It's funny that we're on Techstination, but we're not. This is a very analog type of product, right? And it gives an effect that's almost primal, like sitting next to a fire and watching a fire, and how you can just waste hours away just staring into a fire and talking. It's the same kind of effect with a lava lamp. I think it's the combination between the way that the lava flows and moves within the bottle, and then that iconic shape that's just made it a timeless icon.
And what is it that keeps the lava moving?
So it's changes in temperature, really. So there's a great balance between the wax and the liquid inside, that they're very close as far as that densities goes. But once the heat heats up that wax, then it changes the density, makes it float to the top. And then once it gets to the top, it gets further away from that heat source and it cools down at the top, and then it'll fall back down again. And that process repeats, hopefully forever.
And does that mean you have to use a certain kind of bulb, or are these LED lights in here now?
Yeah, so that's a part of the challenge that we've been faced with over the years. With new regulations, where right now you have to use an incandescent bulb. An LED bulb does not produce any sort of heat, and an incandescent bulb is really the most efficient and effective way to run a lava lamp, because you got the heat and the light all in one low cost solution. So we're working on new ways constantly to innovate with the lava lamp, but right now they run off of incandescent bulbs.
So if you did go to LED, you'd have to have a different kind of heat source, I guess, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah, you'd have to find a way to heat the wax.
Fascinating stuff. Well, again, the new lava lamps are arriving right now, and you can find them at lavalamp.com. Bryan, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Yep. Thanks, Fred.